Is there anything that either one of you did to contribute to the end of the relationship? Did either one of you take any responsibility for anything that you might have done or that you could have done better in the relationship?
Of course, I was saving the whole
of course.
relationship. It kept, going because of all my effort.
That's not what I'm asking. I'm saying, did you contribute to the downfall of the relationship in any way, shape, or form? Is there something that you could have done better that could have potentially prevented the relationship from ending? Or what part did you play in the degradation of the relationship?
Recognize the
if
red
at
flags
all?
at the beginning and not to have the relationship at all.
So the answer is
And not
no.
to forgive someone when I
So
suppose when I did.
no. So you were a perfect angel the entire time. You never did anything wrong
No.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
That's what I'm.
Nobody can be
that's what you're
perfect.
saying.
We are not
No,
God.
but Olia is saying she is. She's saying there's
put up
nothing
with
she
so
did
much.
wrong. Yeah, you didn't do
And
anything wrong. You were a perfect angel the entire time over the course of 11 years. You never did anything wrong at all.
No.
Wow. Okay. Anna, what about you?
Sometimes, I could have contained the way I reacted over things, because sometimes when the other person is angry and I'm also angry and we shout together, so there is things just go out of hand. So, sometimes, because I had my, share of showing patience and everything. And of course, it was a retaliation to, everything happening again and again. But yes, I should have, and I could have sometimes just contained my reactions. But then other than that, I don't really know what I did
But
wrong.
what about, so again, like anything that didn't have to do with him yelling or making the first move, anything that you did that was not a reaction, something that you had a proactive part in playing in, like you were too naggy or you told him to do this and XYZ, like anything that you think might have contributed to that.
Probably I became too complacent, and I just thought that, this is what my life is going to be. And then, probably I didn't really saw the red flags, as she said, when they were starting, and I was just complacent, and that's what I did. I was blindsided when all this started happening because I had a very good time with my husband, it wasn't that it was all bad from the start, but when it went wrong, I should have seen it. And just because I was too complacent, busy in my life, living, oh, this is my pretty happy ever after. But no, it wasn't. So I should have seen it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't answer my question at all, but we can move on. I don't think we're going to continue to get through here. Because again, everything we're talking about here is I should have seen it coming. I should have not, it got bad, but it's only got bad because he got bad. So I should have seen that coming before. But again, there's not a single thing over 14 years that you can say, like, you know what, I probably shouldn't have been this way in this way, or I probably had a 50%. Are all relationships that end, they're all one-sided? They're only the fault of one person? Or do two people have a part to play in a relationship and keeping it together and alive?
Every relationship is different and you can't really compare them. So I don't know what to say about it.
Okay. Alex, we got you back.
I got a slightly different question for Olia.
Please, before we get to Alex.
Olia, you said it's important to look for red flags at the beginning of a relationship, right?
Yeah.
How do you identify those red flags early on?
But by the way they talk, by the way they treat you, by the way they just do things, and if they lie, if they don't lie, what they do, like, it's very important.
Okay, so you said manipulation was one of those red flags.
Yeah.
What's an example of how do you identify a guy who's manipulating you?
Well, somebody who lies and just says, oh, I've never done it, even like you see it yourself with your own eyes. And he says it never happened. I'm tripping.
What? Like him cheating or something like that, or what?
No, like just lying about things and completely denying it, even like I know if it's really happened.
What things?
Well, how can I disclose on camera all my life? I mean, it's not
reality.
You don't have to
use exactly your
give an example.
You don't have to use exactly your example from your past, but use an example of something generalized a little
Well,
bit.
you know, love bombing too. Like love bombing is used in the beginning of the relationship to like tell you, oh, we're gonna get married in 6 months. Oh, we're gonna have kids. Oh, I just want life with you, blah blah. And then like all of a sudden, back off and just like acting like single guy, you know. And
So-
say,
At what
I
point is
never
it
said
love
that.
bombing? How do you know that it's love bombing before it ends?
How do you know before it ends? Well, when somebody starts like really actively like throwing love word and like just telling you, oh, we're gonna have this, we're gonna do this, we're gonna have like family, we're gonna live this, like making these plans to say, oh, this is just gonna happen, and then the actions don't back up his words.
I mean, I'm a believer of watching their actions, not their words. 100%.
Yes.
Pay attention to people's actions, not their words. So I do understand that.
Yeah.
Moff, if you want to continue with another question.
Yeah, I mean, this is already really painful. Got to be honest, because we're trying to talk about actual concrete concepts, and we're getting kind of the runaround here. So I hope that we figure out some along the way. But Alex, you've been patient. I want to get to you. So you mentioned that you are single, sort of in between dating. You're not against it. You're kind of waiting for something to come along, but you're not on the apps. Like, so what's the plan? Like, do you want to get married? Do you want to have children? Like, that's the end goal. Like, what's your master plan when it comes to dating or relationship?
I think I honestly don't know yet. I'm sort of freshly out of another long relationship that was similar to, it sounds like, the one Olyasha had. Just, abusive and toxic, unhealthy, all the above words, and had a kid together. So it was hard to leave because of that. And then you get connected to this person because there are times when it is good, and you get along with them, and there's like definitely all, good moments. And that's what makes it harder to leave, because you get reconnected with them and like feel happy. And then all of a sudden it's like so confusing. Like, why is this happening all of a sudden after like we're, supposed to be loving each other and like connecting, and now all of a sudden everything's just like getting destroyed again. So it was just this constant back and forth between extremely toxic and then extremely good. It was just like a roller coaster. So like your emotions never have a chance to balance and get normal, or like have like a normal life with this person, because there's never like a middle ground. It's never stable. It's just this constant like it feels like a hormonal imbalance, but it's like a relationship, it's like happening outside of your body. So it's not like you can like take a vitamin or like a prescription medication and make your relationship better. It's just like that's something you have to talk about and communicate, and both people have to actively like want it to get better. It can't just be like one person wanting it to get better and then one person just saying they want it to get better. It's like you have to actually do the work, communicate, say what's wrong with the relationship, and sometimes it's obvious and sometimes it isn't. Like sometimes people are just not happy together, and you got to move on. But after that, it's been nice actually not being in a relationship. I'm like, I don't have to worry about anybody getting mad at me or getting mad at anybody. And I wouldn't really call it like relationships. It was more like, I guess, dating, but it became easier to like see if something wasn't working. And honestly, the last few, I liked them, and they ended up, I guess, breaking up with me, even though it didn't really feel like, it didn't seem anything like super serious, but that was kind of a new experience. Not like I haven't ever been broken up with, but I usually feel like I'm the one who isn't looking for something serious. And so these people were, but I didn't feel ready for it after like that long relationship. I was like not, so I don't think I want to get married or have kids, or I don't know what I want right now. I think I'm just kind of figuring that out. And I think I'm just figuring out what I like and don't like in a relationship at this point, because didn't really have time to in the last one.
I want to come back to that because we had another guest that joined backstage. I want to make sure we get her. Did I hear you say you had a kid with this previous relationship? So you've got a child already, or no?
No, I do. I have a 13-year-old.
Okay.
All right, guys, I really hope that you enjoyed that clip. If you want to check out the full-length podcast episode, you can find that right over here. Also, make sure you visit my website over here where you'll find my supplements, the opportunity to book me privately one-on-one for coaching, and most importantly, my new School of Unplugging, which you'll find on the courses tab. Newer to the channel, hit subscribe.